Well, hello, this is Greg Rooney with Connect the Dots and See the Big Picture. Welcome to my channel, where we help you make sense of all the things that are going on these days by connecting the dots from the Old Testament to the New Testament. So we're going to dig in and talk about this topic, the last trumpet. A lot of stuff is swirling all over on YouTube, in different denominational settings and different backgrounds about this thing called the last trumpet. I believe there's a lot of misinterpretation of Scripture, so we're going to dive in and help you understand and break down this topic called the last trumpet. It has a lot to do with the return of Jesus, when it happens, and how it's going to happen. Now, in 1 Corinthians 15, and in Revelation 11, and in Matthew 24:31, I know that's a mouthful, but we read about trumpets. So we see that a lot of people look at these trumpets in these passages and assume that they are all the same thing. But when you look at it a little closer, I think you're going to see that is not so. Let's see if they might not be the same trumpet. Let's take a look at each sounding of these three trumpets. Now, the last trump that sounds in 1 Corinthians 15 relates to believers only. Read that in context and you'll see that to be so. And it's a trump of God that the context says results immediately and instantaneously in the resurrection and translation of the church. Now, the details of this trumpet are quite different from the other trumpets that we read about. You see that 1 Corinthians 15 is connected to the resurrection of the living, which is explained in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 15 through 18. Notice verse 51, and I'm going to read it here. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. So Paul is saying that some of us will not die and be raised from the dead. We will be changed instantly when we are alive. That's the mystery spoken of in 1 Corinthians 15, verses 51 through 53. The resurrection was not a mystery as it was seen in the Old Testament as well. Now, what the mystery is a translation of living believers, those that have not gone asleep, as we just read. And at the second coming, we do not see in Scripture a resurrection of living believers occurring at this time. When you look at Zechariah 14 and in chapter 13 as well, when Jesus comes back, at the end of the tribulation period, you don't see any resurrection of living believers, and many other places in the Bible as well. Now, in Revelation 11, the sounding of the seventh trumpet is an announcement of the coming reign of Christ, but there is no indication in the text that the second coming of Christ is happening at this exact time. Instead, it is an anticipatory announcement of what is coming. Now, we see in Revelation 19 the description of the second coming that happens after the bowl judgments. This trumpet is related to judgments upon the unsaved world. You must read this in context and interpret it literally. It makes complete sense when you do that. Now, in the third mention of trumpets, in Matthew 24, verse 31, we see the Lord sending out his angels with the sound of a trumpet to assemble his elect. All this to say, just because we see the same word being used does not always mean it's referring to the same event. A careful reading of the text in context helps one understand these details and see the big picture. Check it out for yourself. You'll see the verses listed in the comments down below, and subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and be looking forward to some new content posted weekly. God bless, and come Lord quickly. Come, Maranatha.